Jinping has a lot of time on his hands. He's been looking for work off and on since he graduated from high school 2 years ago. So far, no luck.
If you're not a college graduate, it's really hard to find a job.
His buddy Zhang Xu is a little better off, but not much. He dreams of a job in computers, but now makes only $30 a month working part-time at a jewelry store. State factories once propped up by the government are now laying off millions of workers, just as millions of high school graduates are looking for jobs. The job search is a struggle even for college graduates. More than 50,000 people about to get their degrees turned out for this job fair last month, where about 600 companies were represented.
I'm not optimistic. There are so many people looking for jobs, and I'm not the most outstanding prospect.
Women in particular complain of discrimination in what is still a male-dominated society.
Lots of company want a man.
Really?
They don't like a girl.
In the good old days, the Communist Party found a job for everybody. Now, young people have to fend for themselves. Zhang Huizi is job hunting in the relative quiet of one of Beijing's increasingly popular internet cafes. Finding a job can be difficult, she says, but at least students today have a choice.
Before, the government decides your future, your whole life.
The future of the Communist Party may be in jeopardy if it can't ease the pain now being felt by a once pampered workforce. Chris Billing, NBC News, Beijing. The Great Wall is an enduring symbol of China's strength and greatness. Originally built to keep out barbarian invaders, it's now a magnet for tourists. And dollars and cents seem more important than a sense of history. The wall is a backdrop for an amusement park. This toboggan ride was built 2 years ago. At Badaling, the most popular part of the wall, a carnival atmosphere reigns. About 15,000 people visit this section each day, and officials are doing all they can to cash in on the influx. There's even an American fast food restaurant. Critics say all this commercialism reduces the Great Wall's grandeur. Some support the idea of forming a no-development buffer zone around the ancient structure. But chances for that are slim because China's future is at stake.
The driving force in China is development and poverty alleviation. This is good, but the nation's prime cultural heritage should not be sold off to the demands of present-day tourism.
It's not just the Great Wall. Other ancient wonders, like this imperial palace, also are going commercial, complete with amusement park rides. China seems to have decided that profit is more important than preservation. Chris Billing, NBC News, Beijing. The cyber cafes of China are buzzing. In a country long walled off from the rest of the world, an internet revolution is underway. The number of web users in China is exploding, from about 2 million a year ago to 10 million today. And it's not just in the cities. Henlei lives a largely traditional life in a struggling rural village tucked in the mountains north of Beijing. But this 17-year-old is also his community's ambassador to cyberspace, in charge of maintaining the village website.
Through the internet, peasants like me can have contact with the outside world. It's as if there's no distance.
The internet boom has left China's communist leaders in a quandary. They see the economic growth that the web is generating in the United States and want a piece of the action. But they're worried about the free flow of ideas. Behind me is the State Security Bureau, China's KGB. A special police force within that compound monitors the internet to keep out anti-government content. Internet service providers like ChinaRen.com also try to stay inside the Communist Party line. Employees scan the chat rooms to keep out politically sensitive ideas.
Right now, we operate within the boundaries that sort of set by the government. We follow all the regulations posted by the government.
But controlling the internet is not easy. And as web use in China expands, authorities risk seeing the internet chip away at their monopoly on power. Chris Billing, NBC News, Beijing. On one side, workers with shovels. On the other, heavy equipment. And in the middle, Zhang Wanzhen's house, standing right where a new shopping center is supposed to go. She's refusing to move.
It's my property. I've lived here my whole life. My family has been here for many generations.
A court has been asked to decide whether the house stays or goes. Narrow alleyways like this one, called hutongs, once made up the social fabric of old Beijing, and the courtyard house was the center of life. Surrounded by high walls, these traditional homes provide a quiet sanctuary from the bustle outside. But now, Beijing's old neighborhoods are being razed in the city's rush to modernize, building malls, office towers, and apartment buildings. Longtime residents like 83-year-old Zhao Jingxing complain that the city's charm is being destroyed.
Beijing should be developed, that's true. But not to develop, not to demolish all the hutongs and the courtyard houses, which is the uniqueness of this old and ancient city.
A few Chinese legislators have now spoken up, recently submitting a motion calling for the protection of historic sites. But it may be a case of too little too late. Only a few pockets of old Beijing remain, and the demolition crews are closing in. Chris Billing, NBC News, Beijing. A night out in the part of Beijing where the young set unwinds after a hard day's work. Along with the drinking, a lot of smoking. Zhang Zhenling started smoking 8 years ago.
I think smoking is nothing.
A lot of Chinese seem to think that way. An estimated 350 million people in China smoke. They consume more than 10 billion cigarettes a day.
There are many people who smoke, so other people pick it up from them.
But China is paying a huge price. Lung cancer, heart disease, and other smoking-related illnesses are becoming epidemic.
Every year, right now in China, the deaths because of the smoking already reach 1 million.
A recent survey by the World Health Organization produced an estimate that by the year 2020, 1/3 of China's men will die of smoking-related diseases. The Chinese government has been slow to deal with the problem. One complication, the state tobacco monopoly brings nearly $12 billion a year into government coffers. Past Chinese leaders like Chairman Mao and Deng Xiaoping smoked openly. But current President Jiang Zemin has come out publicly against smoking. The government has also launched anti-smoking drives to educate people about health issues. But it's a tough sell. Cheap Chinese-produced cigarettes are the best-selling in the world. And the huge Chinese market has also attracted attention from overseas.
The international tobacco company, they are looking for their customer, just looking at these adolescents, both boy and girl. So this is the target.
It comes down to a struggle for China's next generation, and the nation's health hangs in the balance. Chris Billing, NBC News, Beijing.